time's expired. They have called votes. They called votes about 10 minutes ago, but we're going to have one more questioner, and then we'll recess for votes. But Chair now recognizes for the last question before recess the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This hearing has been all over the place, from climate change to politics to somewhat on the issue at hand. And I want to ask you, Administrator Criswell, has FEMA made any attempt to identify the people discriminated against because of their support for President Trump?
The actions of this individual were unacceptable, and
that's not what I asked.
we do not have any evidence at this point that shows that this was a larger issue, but there are ongoing investigations.
I've only got a few minutes. No, ma'am. I'm asking, there were clearly people who were passed over.
Correct.
Okay. Have you made any attempt to identify those people?
Oh, those people that were passed over?
Yes, ma'am.
We sent another team in there, and they have made contact with everybody in that community.
So what is FEMA prepared to do to meet the needs of those people who were discriminated against?
If they were if they registered for assistance or needed assistance, they are now in the system and will get whatever they are eligible for.
Okay. And those are people who have applied that notified you that they were passed over, or did you discover them by other means?
When we looked at the records from this employee's team and found the homes that were skipped, we sent a team in there to contact all of those homes. I can't tell you if they all applied for assistance. I don't know that they all needed assistance, but we at least gave them the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. This is not the first time, though, that FEMA's had an issue with discrimination, because for years FEMA discriminated against houses of worship. It wasn't until a lawsuit was brought by 3 churches in Texas and 2 synagogues in Florida that this stopped. Are you aware of that?
I am not familiar with the lawsuit that you're mentioning.
Are you aware that that FEMA has had an issue with interacting with religious groups and
I am not.
churches? I think it's an unfortunate part of FEMA's history. And it seems that I can understand why there's a built-in political bias for FEMA employees in Washington, because only about 6.5% voted of the vote for president, and the Washington, D.C. went to Trump. But I want to ask you something else, and I want to go back to the questions that Congressman Jordan asked, Chairman Jordan asked, and that those people who were on that chat group that witnessed the directive to volunteers, I'm not sure you gave a satisfactory answer as to whether or not you've contacted those people and what information you've gotten from them. Have you tried to do that?
As I said before, I have not personally talked to them, but there are ongoing investigations.
So will you state for the record that the investigators are contacting those people to get their information?
The investigators should be contacting them, and if they haven't, I will ensure it.
If you maintain that FEMA took swift and satisfactory action after Mrs. Washington's team's message, why do you think the whistleblower felt compelled to reveal her message to the public?
I can't speak on behalf of the whistleblower. I know that I was made aware of the situation on November 7th. I received confirmation that this text message had been sent on November 9th, and I directed her termination. It was not acceptable behavior. It is not how we want to treat people.
I understand what you're saying publicly, but what matters is what you're doing in the investigation, what you're doing privately to clean this up and to create a culture of respect for all people. And I really don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. I don't care their religious affiliations. I think the role of FEMA is to provide aid when necessary. And I just want to be sure that there's substantial proof that you can offer the American people today that taxpayers who pay their hard-earned dollars to provide for these disaster response resources will not face future political discrimination from FEMA. Can you give us absolute assurance of that?
Congressman, we are here to help all people.
I know, but you didn't.
And I can assure you that we will take action
you
against
did not
anyone who has not followed our core values of compassion, fairness, integrity, and respect. We treat everybody the same. Everybody is eligible for assistance.
We're counting on you doing that. And I would like to identify with Mr. Moskowitz. I thought that his perspective on the need to reorganize FEMA and well, Homeland Security was spot on. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.